Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text tweet work world that you've grown up in, remember just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. The only thing that you can do is win so big that all of them constantly compare themselves to you, and then you'll forget they exist. And that's when he said success is the only revenge. He's like, it's not the best revenge. He's like, it's the only one. There's no other revenge because everything else is petty. Everything else does show that you were thinking about these people all day long, which means they win by default. He's like, all you can do is think about your goal and winning. He's like, and when you win, that's when you become so big that they shrink into irrelevance. You cast a shadow that no one even can see them behind you. It's easy to get up easy. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. I'm done. I ain't going to keep going. I don't feel like going to work. Then it's easy. It's very easy. But what's hard is going yesterday. Despite working as hard as I could, nothing came of it. Today, I plan to repeat the same actions, but I'm determined to push myself harder. This is the most challenging thing in the world. Waking up every day and giving it your all. And be in the same position that you were each day, but mentally know that you're trying and trying and trying. That's a real grind. I don't care how good you are. If you don't have discipline, you are nobody, right? Nothing without discipline because you give up under the slightest struggle. Without discipline, 100% mean discipline is doing what you hate to do but doing it like you love it. Doing what you hate to do but doing it like you love it. That is a great quote. And if you can do that, you'd be successful at anything. Well, you normally are. What are you going to do? When are you going to start doing it? This isn't about a convention or a conference. It's not about enthusiasm. Do you need to smile? Yeah, you need to smile. You need to smile like you're crazy. You need to smile when you're not winning. Okay, but you need to do something, folks, and you need to do it 10 times, and then 100 times, and then 1,000 times, and if you do it enough times, you're going to win. You're going to get to sit wherever you want in life, on whatever plane seat or whatever hotel you want to be at. Stay as long as you want. Come and go as you want. If you don't want to go, you're like, just cancel the plans. Try to be still and understand that things come and go. Emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, to embrace them all, and then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by emotion. Comparison is the deadliest thing we can do to ourselves because we will always come out short. And all it does is exaggerate all of our insecurities, and it's okay to enjoy other people's success. But you let them live their lives and you live your life. The bigger the change you want to make, the longer it takes. Okay, so if your change is a generational type of a change with a mindset and a way of thinking your family's been known as the poor broke family, you want to make a real massive change, it's probably going to take 10 to 20 years. Pay to your generations full of entitled complainers. You like, I'm sick and tired of me being linked to my generation and being complainers. I want to do something about it. Maybe you're going to be able to make a change, but maybe it's a 10 or 20 year type of a change. But your body, you want to make some kind of a change, maybe 21 or 90 days. So what happens now if you're saying, well, Pat, I want to make some major changes in my life. I want to do something big, great. Then that major change is going to require you longer term. Nobody knows, but you can't get advice on what you should do with your life, right? Nobody knows what you are like. Even sometimes you don't really even know what you are. You got to take your shot. And it's like, as much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not going to be like that all the time. You got to do it alone, and people will help you. And when you get the ball rolling, people will jump on. But if you don't believe, nobody else is going to believe. People come along because your belief is so insane, that your belief is so strong, that makes people be like, yo, this crazy. I want to remind you of something. You are one decision away from changing your life. And you have to accept that you're one new meeting, one new relationship, one new contact, one new action, one new decision away from shifting your life from where it is right now to a totally different place. So what's the decision? You already know. I could go backstage now. There's something you've been hesitating on. There's a contact you need to make, isn't there? There's a job you need to quit. There's a relationship you need to engage in. Maybe there's a relationship you need to leave. I don't know what it is, but I know there's a decision that you need to make to take you to the next level, just like I know that's true for me. And I think the definition of a man is being emotionally strong. I disrespect a lot of men who get into the gutter and get into gossip and act all ridiculous and childish. I think the biggest strength is emotional strength, not muscles. But why can't both be true? MH, why can't you be a father that both has an argument at a dinner table instead of getting emotional and acting a fool? Be calm, collected, and underscore. Debate your point of view with respect. And why can't you also be a father? The bobcat goes in your backyard. You're ready to do something about it instead of crying. Yeah, why can't you? I always visualize what giving would feel like given to people who had given to me, what that would feel like. I always dreamed I'd just show up one day and be like here, and that would always give me good feelings. The problem is most people don't have a plan, and without a plan of your own life, you become the plan of someone else's life. You're not running the day is running you. The differential between those people is belief. One person with belief overrides 100 people with just intent. Intent is thought process thinking. Wargaming is never putting a foot forward, never putting their face or their name to the fire. Belief is going after it and figuring it out along the way that if you want it, you got to go get it. Some of y'all got this concept for what you want to accomplish. You know some of y'all are motivated by broke on broke. I'm stuck. I'm __ up. I can't do anything. Some of y'all are motivated by just wanting to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. Other folks are motivated by materialistic things. It's a very simple concept. If you want it, you got to go get it. Promise yourself you'll read the books until your skills change. You'll go to seminars until you get a handle on it. You'll listen to it until it makes sense. You'll go for it until you understand it. And you'll practice it until you develop the skill. Never give up until however long that is, step by step, piece by piece, book by book, word by word, apple by apple, walk around the block, go for it. Don't miss the chance to grow and resolve that you'll pay the price until you learn, change, grow, and become. Then you'll discover some of life's best treasures when you pay that price. I'm looking for the journey. I don't want the comfort. I want the challenge. I'm looking for the journey, so no matter what bad is happening to me, part of me is always going to sit there and detach myself from myself and analyze it from the third person and say, wow, fantastic. This is going to be a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for you to prove yourself to yourself and prove yourself to everybody else and prove yourself to God. And I think that that's what's truly appealing about life for me, comes down to like, what are you willing to sacrifice at the end of the day? You know, people don't understand the level of sacrifice is going to take. And there's been moments where I realize that there are competitors I'm going against, I'm sure, and people in my league who are doing things that hurt their body more than I'm willing to do because I'm not the person anymore. I can't say I'm willing to sacrifice everything to win the Olympia. Like, hell no, I have a family, there's things I care about, and I'm willing to sacrifice a lot my own, like selfish mental peace and a lot of joy and a lot of things and working really hard, absolutely. But my health, taking years off my life to not be with my family and stuff, those are things I kind of like hold me back now. And is that going to make me better or worse? I don't know. But again, I've always focused on building my own definition of what success means to me. The more you put into anything in life, the more you're going to get out. Now, for whatever reason, people understand this. And they understand that the more you put into building a business, the more you're going to get out of it. The more hours you spend working on anything, the more you are going to get out. Work pays. If you up against something that you think you can defeat, you're going to be great, right? That's why they'll never remember your name. That's why Liberty will probably never remember your name, because your greatness and excellence is predicated upon, if I get an easy task, I'm going to be great, and I'm going to give everything I got to it. But when it's adversity and opposition present or a challenge present, you pipe down, and you don't want to go for it. Never allow life to make you forget. Well, you do what you do. People don't burn out. People don't quit. People don't underachieve. People don't settle because of what they do. People burn out. People quit. People underachieve. And people settle because life makes them forget why they do it. If we respect it the way we say we respect it, if we love it the way we say we love it, if we cherish it the way we say we cherish it, every single day should be nothing less than excellence. Come up with a quick plan, not a perfect one, and you start taking action. And then you face your demons, you slay your dragons. What needs to change? Like, okay, I'm never going to relationship if I'm numb all the time, so I got to change this. It's hard, but I'm going to do the hard thing, right? And when you do the hard thing, you get momentum. And then what was hard becomes easy after a while, and that's really the secret, this thing inside of your head, that this fight or flight kind of thing that like got you up every morning. You had to pee, like you had to survive, like the survival and instinct was alive inside of us, and because it needed to be there. It was like a pilot light, like on your heater downstairs, that heat on your water heater. It would, that pilot light to survive was in us. I would just rather, for most people, and here's it's kind of interesting, if I tell you take courageous action. And you're like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll like, wait, but before you do that, can we stop the inaction part? There's things that you want and you desire, but you're inactive. You're not going for it. You're not assertive towards it. I want you to assert yourself way more consistently towards the things that you want. That doesn't always require courage. Sometimes it's just doing the thing. It's just showing up. I want you to stop the inaction, get in motion towards the things that you want on a consistent basis. And then after we review the consequences of that then I'm going to say, okay, bold moves, courageous action. Let's go, let's get in it, let's do the hard things now. Don't let it hold you back. Don't let any experience that you've ever had in your life act as a brake on your potential. Because there's hundreds of thousands of people who've had it worse than you could ever dream of, who've gone on to accomplish wonderful things. Nothing works the first time. Okay, please understand that nothing works the first time, so once you have those people around you, it's literally nature. You're going to be who you're around, so if everybody's working, you're going to work. If everybody's being lazy, you're going to be lazy. Simple as that. Like if people are doing well around you, you have to be able to realize like, hey, okay, let me separate myself from these people and let me do my own thing. If they're around you, you should be happy for your friend, bro. Do you know how hard it is to find friends who genuinely want to see you win? That's hard. People would like to see you do good but not better than them, bro. And it's so hard to just find people that just want to see you win. Just wow. Like, yo, he's going crazy, right? You feel me? You know what? If I'm going to do this, I have to do this right. I put together a plan, and I went back to Colorado, and all the plans worked out except for me being a parent. Okay, no worries, but even throughout that whole downshift and the state of mind I was in, I kept getting on stage. I kept getting on stage. It didn't matter. I kept getting on stage. Who gives a __? Getting on stage, you're in pain, you're mad. Get on stage and talk. Talk about it. And that's what I did. And by 94, which was 2 years later than that, I really had a dream. Not to be famous or nothing like that. At this point, I just wanted to be a working comic that nobody knew about, to be successful at anything. The truth is you don't have to be special, you just have to be what most people aren't, consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts. If you look at all my teammates here tonight, it would be impossible to find better examples of men who embody that work ethic. Integrity, purpose, determination, and discipline that it takes to be a champion in life. Be a loser if you don't. I can't leave the gym. You won when you walk out of here today. You know it's you won. No matter walking out the door a loser, I'd rather die. I would rather die than be that loser guy. Think about that. Do you want to walk out that door a damn loser, or you want to walk out the door a winner that I'll fight to the death? And sometimes I actually went close to death. It sounds crazy. But you got to give it that much if you want results, otherwise you'll be like everybody else. The majority of the population, they think they're training hard. Knowledge and experience and wisdom takes time. Wisdom comes from experience, and experience takes time. The more experience you have, the more you learn from that experience, the wiser you can get. If you haven't lived long enough to have a broad enough portfolio of experience, then you can't expect to have knowledge and wisdom. And I know you can be great, but we have to start taking responsibility for ourselves. We have to stop putting it off and making excuses for why we aren't where we want to be. We all have unique hardships. We all have frustrations. Yes, some hard things happen to you that haven't happened to me, but guess what? There's some hard things that have happened to me that will never happen to you, and we all have a choice to make. We all get to choose what heart are we going to have. Are we going to have the heart of creating and becoming, and being a great example for everybody else, honoring the people who came before us, and setting a great example for the people coming after us? Or are we going to cruise in my life and my career? I want to be with people that I'm aligned with, people that know, it's not just about the money. It is about the money because it's a sponsorship deal. But it's not just not going to take a bigger offer if it isn't something that I am aligned with, and on 100%. You have to have no fear. You have to have no fear. You have to believe in who you are and what you do and just go get it. You're not going to change anybody else if you change you. Everything really does begin with you. Most people never dare to evaluate really where they are, and you got to know where you are before you can really determine your chances of getting what you really want out of life. Why did that statement come forth? Because for the first time, you had evaluated it. That's what we need to do. Evaluate where we are. Are we investing our time properly, using our resources properly? What will the end results be? Life can be kind of difficult, right? You don't really know sometimes where you're headed. Nobody kind of gives you any kind of guidance in this world, right? And they don't tell you when you graduate college. Go ahead, Robert, you go study this. This is what you know this is what your brain is suited for, etc., etc. You have to find your own path, and motivation is motive in action, and of all the things I've ever learned about motivation, which most TID cassettes only pump you up for a little while, losers dwell on the penalty of failure and winners dwell on the reward of success. You always move toward your currently dominant thought. Every moment of every day you see, you can't concentrate on the reverse of an idea. You ain't make me, so you can't break me. You didn't build me, so you can't kill me. I know what God established me, so you ain't nothing you could do to me. I've been dealing with foolishness since P-football, man. I've been him. I've been a difference maker, a game changer. I've been that guy, so what would change now that I'm coaching? Not a DN thing. I'm not even playing the game, and you got an opinion of me. I'm not even on the field, but I'm pretty sure I get every dark coach I played against, head coaches, and anything you want to do. But I love it. But I don't care, and I wish the world thought like that. Youngsters, if you're out there right now, do not give a darn what opinions people have of you, as long as that opinion is not consistent with that of yourself. You be you. I'm not playing to make you feel good about me. I already feel good about me. I'm a good message for the youngsters out there and the olders. Old school, not old fools, man. I'm built different, period. I just built different, man. And I have always had an eye, a discipline and a work ethic that I've had at a young age. I just apply to everything that I want to do. So I would say that, I rarely go out, reading, what I'm saying, trying to reverse engineer how to be successful. Like, how do I, start my own production company? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I always felt like if other cats was out partying, I was home studying, I would have an edge. Yes, you know what I'm saying. If Cass was out here doing this, then that being hum or the night before, I would have an edge. If I wasn't that go at a party yet, did I have a good time? Yes. If I'm eating food, I'll save the best for living. You know what I'm saying. Eat around it to the one part that I really want to eat. I'm all right. I'm going to say that I'm like a delayed, you know what I'm saying, gratification. I'm that type of person. So like I'm literally like, all right, I will party later. I work hard now, so the second half of my life I can do whatever I want. That's been my mentality. Like, I'm not going to trick off my early years for partying and then worry about struggling, how I'm going to make it, how I'm going to take care of my family, how I'm going to take care of everybody else. Like, that's not going to be me. I'm a grind it out now. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going to set up the foundation so I can enjoy myself later. That's always been my mentality, and that works for me. I just believe, and I got a game plan. You always got to have a game plan. Even like everybody in this audience, what we're slacking is this. We have to go back to the old school pen and paper. We have to write that's my thing. I love writing. We have to write our ideas down, sit it right there on the nightstand. And then you got to see every day, you see certain goals. You can write down 10 goals. And then in 12 months, if you ain't accomplished none of those goals, then you're running in place, you're hustling backward. I think the best thing about my career was I'm my own boss, that I want to do what I wanted to do. I rolled the dice. And to become great or to become great at whatever you want to do, you got to roll the dice and take a chance on yourself. Is don't use overtraining as your excuse not to push yourself to your absolute limit. My whole focus on my method, my whole crazy ranting cut seat, everything I do is based on training, something that you won't find in a textbook. You're not afraid, you're not reaching right, and you should be putting yourselves in a position where you're not sure if you could do it. You hope you can do it. You have confidence that you're not someone who quits when things are hard. And these are what allow you to make a rational bet that it's not a totally reckless thing to do. Like, the years of struggle will strike you as most beautiful. And it's true, you think about the worst moments of your life from earlier, now they're integrated into who you are. And in some ways we understand that we couldn't and wouldn't be where we are without those things we know. Like, we know not only is that true in a positive way, but it's also just true in how the mind works. Like, the mind is really good at this, is what cognitive dissonance does. It works on you in a way that makes this thing for the best. Lazy people do a little work and think they should be winning, but winners work as hard as possible and still worry if they're being lazy. I would always say, what would I tell my future son? Because if I can't tell him to get through adversity right now, if I can't tell him to keep pushing through, if I can't tell, if I don't live through that, how am I going to ever give him genuine advice one day to get through it on his own? So you have to think, man, like, sometimes you go through things and you don't know the reason at first, but it's not for right now. It's to help someone later, like your son or your daughter. Sometimes you're living through the toughest thing ever and you don't know why it's happening to you. Sometimes, guys, it's bigger than what you can even see right now. Sometimes your son going to be looking you in the eye and say, Dad, how do I get through this? And then what are you going to tell him when you quit before? What are you going to tell him when you took shortcuts? That's the point, man. There's so much stuff that's bigger than you right now that you're going through for a bigger purpose than you can even imagine. Years of my life, I feel like I have nothing to show for it. And what it comes down to, Dave, is, just like, let's take one more step. Let's go get one more workout and let's take another breath. Let's keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep putting it in. And slowly but surely, that's how you achieve greatness. You just keep showing up, you keep giving it everything you have, even when you feel like there's nothing there, nothing's coming from it. And that's really just what kind of got me through that hump, made me realize that there's much more to this experience of being human than any sort of monetary gain, material success you could ever want. And there's nothing wrong with that. Either we should all strive to be successful and to be the greatest version of ourselves that we can, but it doesn't come through the things, it comes through following your heart. It comes through expressing yourself, connecting with others, having good sources of inspiration. If you surround your social media, if your feed has a lot of people who look like you kind of want to look a little bit like them, and they've got a lot of positive and encouraging underscore to say, and it can do attitude, that's a good start. Now, it's not going to keep you in the gym, but it might get your ass in there on a rainy day. Another thing is to set goals. Motivation is, in many senses, defined as the pull towards a goal. You get rid of a goal you're technically not motivated to do. Underscore. Like animals in a lab are motivated, goal-based, at least neurochemically. You could have Hubman on here. It'll tell it to you better. It's like motivation is goal-oriented, even if the goal is to equalize this amount of chemical between one brain cell and another. So if you have a goal of like, I want XYZ amount of reps on my lift, that's realistic. Or even a motivation like, I want to be able to tell myself I'm man enough to go to the gym 4 times a week every day this year. That's my goal. A process goal instead of an outcome goal. That's a big deal. Just be who you are on purpose. Be who you are on purpose. Live with intent, and you do that every day. You and I are not spring chickens. We got a little mileage on us. What drives you now at this stage of your life? What makes you get up every day and live with purpose? Struggle and hardship and bad times and tests. Those are all part of the journey, so you can't be surprised when you get to them. If you're going to take a trip from here to California, you're going to realize that you're probably going to have to go up some hills, and then down some hills, and there's probably going to be some flat times, probably going to hit some rainstorms, maybe some snowstorms if every time the hill went up or every time the hill went down or every time you get some rain you turned around and went back home. How do you get to California? So you have to be someone who can tolerate these natural ebbs and flows emotionally, and in reality, if you're going to build anything, so it's more about building yourself into someone who could tolerate it than it is like finding a path without those OP obstacles. You don't get to live the comfortable life with recognition and progress and all of the personal development you really care about, and also be able to switch off from that stuff whenever you want. It's like you think that you could be obsessive and driven in one area of your life, but be able to create a hard boundary where it doesn't bleed over into everything else. That's just not the way that it works. Your brain doesn't know, oh, these are the pursuits that I'm supposed to really be obsessive about. But when it comes to my relationships or how I feel about my progress in the gym or whatever, I want you to leave that bit apart and compartmentalize it. It's like, no, this is a nature that you're building inside of yourself, or in many ways has been sort of bestowed on you genetically. You can kind of have these weird bits of territory where you want it over here, but you don't want it over there, so there are no solutions, only trade-offs. Okay, would you sacrifice all of the things that you care about yourself, your depth of thought, the development that you make, if it meant that you go to have a little bit more peace? For the most part, I don't think you would. It's where you say, let me remind myself I always have power because I can always choose what I'm going to think about this. And what a beautiful thing that is, and I get to choose what I'm going to do or what I'm not going to do. And this is where you remind yourself that you do get to choose. If you stay in a relationship, you do get to choose if you're going to offer support. That's why I do say you're never stuck. All the people who say you get stuck, you're never stuck because you always get to choose. Yes. Yeah. All conditions of reality are painful. And so if pain is a prerequisite for reality, then it means it's just a signal that we are alive. And so in thinking about that, rather than pain being a problem, it is a signal that I'm breathing, and then becomes irrelevant. If you see that you have an empty calendar, most people assume that if someone asks you for that time, it's therefore theirs. And it's only not theirs when someone else has claimed it, which means that your time only belongs to other people, and then you're surprised by the fact that your investment of time has yielded nothing for you when you've given the only and most valuable asset that you have to everyone else, who often give a very poor return on it for you. And so in the beginning, if you don't have money, the only thing you have is time, and so that is the only thing that it's the only currency you can spend to improve yourself or get closer to your goals. And so if that's the one currency you have, then why on earth would you give it away? There's a lot of things you can lose. There's a lot of things you can compromise. There's a lot of things that's okay if you drop the ball on. It's okay if you drop the ball on a lot of different things. It's okay maybe you're not the most eloquent communicator speaker out there. It's okay if you're not the smartest. It's okay if you're not the brightest. But it's not okay if you say you're going to do something and you don't come through, because there's only one person it hurts when you say you're going to do something and you don't come through, and that's your willpower. And more and more and more your willpower gets used to you saying things and not doing, your willpower stops having faith in the words that come out of your mouth. And the moment your willpower, your spirit stops having faith in the words that come out of your mouth, whatever you start telling yourself, your mind is telling you, oh, whatever, he's not going to do it. So those of you guys in this room with a dream to do something great with your life, and you're kind of average and ordinary, maybe you're not the smartest dude in the world or the biggest dude in the world, but you want to do something great with your life, maybe I can be an example of that, because I know what it's like not to feel great about what you're doing, to doubt whether you're doing this. I think when I die, when I meet him, he's going to go, well done, good and faithful servant. But I got this other feeling. I think he introduces us to who we're capable of being, who he made you in his image and likeness, the woman or man you were. I think he introduces me. Hey Ed, I want you to meet this guy right here. This is the man I made you to be. These are the places you could have gone, the experiences you could have had, the people you could have helped, the moments, the memories, the way you feel about you, and what you could have had. That's the guy right there. And when I meet that dude, I want to go, man, I've been chasing your ass all my life, and what I want is for him to go, bro, I've been watching you. I'm proud of you, man. You caught me. You did it. You got off track a bunch of times, but you kept getting back on track. Every decision I made was to catch that guy. I don't want to get out of this life when I'm an old man and I'm done here, not have maxed out my life on chasing that dude. Well, I mean, and most people I am pretty sure are upset, John, but I don't know. I mean, I hate to be a downer on this podcast. I don't want it to be a downer. It should be, this should be an up thing. In fact, when this should be like, hey man, we're not going to be here forever, so use the time that you have, like right now, think about something you always wanted to do, always wanted to go, and go do it. And please tell the people you love them, get it out of your system, get it, say something to someone you love. One big thing is a lot of people, it's hard to imagine, but you have to learn how to fail, because I'm going to explain this to you. I had big dreams. A lot of us have big dreams, big goals. And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting to that goal, you're going to have a lot of bad days, a lot of setbacks. So like when I was losing 106 pounds in 3 months, the first 2 months or first 2 weeks, it's like I was gaining weight. I would lose a pound, gain 2. So I was just failing. I kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. So I had to teach myself how to fail right. And what that means is when I fail, I can't spend much time in that fail zone. I have to be able to get up and get after the next day just as fast. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over until I get it. It is very dangerous to have a plan B, because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding. And one of the main reasons why people want to have a plan B is because they have worried about failing. What is, if I failed, then I don't have anything else? Well, let me tell you something. Don't be afraid of failing, because there's nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb that ladder. There's no one that doesn't fail. Whenever I start, I'm on finish, but I got to put a period of exclamation mark at the end of everything I start, and I hate not finishing something that I start. That's probably the thing I'm most afraid of. There's some things I've started in life right now I got to finish, so the confidence and the aura comes with time. Only if, and I'll stress this again, only if you do the work every single day, or at least 5 or 6 days a week. If you're constantly grinding, constantly trying to improve yourself, one day you wake up and everyone's like, wow, you're smart and well-spoken, and you dress well, and you got a bunch of money. And you're like, well, it didn't happen overnight, so you need to just want it. And if you can't force yourself to do it, then I can't force you. It's very, very hard to make changes, even to yourself, if you think like I've thought many times in my life. I need to change this aspect of my life. I need to party less. I need to sleep less. I need to work more. I need to train more. I need to make more money. I need to spend more time with my daughter. Whatever it was in life, adjusting your lifestyle to make changes in yourself is difficult. Not everybody can do it, so if you understand how difficult it is to make changes to yourself, I attribute my curiosity to learning more about what I do to other great people in the world, and then finding a meditative, calming state when they're doing something that they're passionate about. And we have so many interruptions and distractions that go on, so there's always someone that's trying to throw you off. That balance, and that grounding space that you're in, so when you're working on your craft and no one's there, that's probably one of the most peaceful places for me. But also being in the zone while you're performing in front of people is also a meditative, peaceful state. You're going to sit down and stop, where you're going to lose your mind. Look, man, it makes you more efficient, and it makes you more intentional, and it makes your energy concentrate, so that when you're going out and doing the things that you have to do, you're showing up to the meeting, you're showing up to the family event, You're showing up with your partner, your kids, your job being of service, your energy is more potent. It's more concentrated, so you're going to do a better job. You're going to be more efficient. You're not good enough, okay, because you got to be so good that you got to be able to pace the people with the relationships and the connections and the politics and the money, because you know what, when you go out in the real world, you're going to face that same you think that doesn't exist in the real world. You think it doesn't exist, that people have connections or you know some sort of backup deal, or that's all real, bro. And you're getting your first taste of it here as a young man, which is actually a blessing in disguise. So my advice would be this: if you quit, you're going to quit everything hard in your life. And that's a big problem for you, because I can promise you, and this is coming from someone who played sports at a high level, it gets a lot harder. I don't like to focus on problem, I focus on solutions. Like, you can't go back and fix the years that you weren't present. There is nothing that we can do about that time. We can have a conversation about it. We can talk about it. And then you don't have to focus on what you can't change. The fact that you're here now and that you made a decision to get clean, to turn your life around, it's never too late. What I do very well is I don't hold on to grudges or gripes. It takes too much time. It takes too much energy. Things will work themselves out. They never not have. It always works itself out. Sometimes you don't. You don't need words, although some people do need them. Sometimes your actions are a little better. It sucks to lose, right? But at the same time, their answers are there if you just look at them, because you get the information from losing more than from winning, probably. Yeah, I mean, the answers are there when you win too. You just have to look at them. Right. So it's a constant process. It's exciting when you win. It's exciting when you lose, because the process should be exactly the same, whether you win or you lose. You go back and you look and you find things that you could have done better. You find things that you've done well that worked. You figure out how they worked, why they worked, and how you can make them work again. Yeah, but the hardest thing is to face that stuff we can win. It can be nice, pick one right, and different people pick different things right for the type of material world climbing. That I did for a big chunk of my life. It was military minded. We're going to get that flag to the top of that hill, and you are going to help or you're not going to be here, right? So that's one mindset. If your friends are constantly bringing you to the filtration system of memory and history all the time, think this through. How often are those friends saying, hey, what are you working on now? Where are you going? What's your vision? What do you want to create? And maybe that sounds hokey, but you and I have both our friends have the most amazing histories, and you can't get them to talk about them. You have to work, because what are they still doing? They're talking about now and where they're going. Their viewpoint in their life is being present and having a vision for the future. A formula for misery, a formula for lack of creativity, lack of productivity is constantly being history and memory. Even if it's good, it doesn't serve us, and for most of us, it's not good, and we keep living from it or trying to move away from it. Create a new future. Don't move away from the past. Create a brilliant, imaginative, curious, vibrant vision for your life. If you're lucky enough that some way the way you communicate brings value to others, you need to be smart about that. I think a lot of people use motivation for their own selfishness, and I know it all plays out in 30 or 40 years. But along the way, for my own appetite, I want to balance it the right way, and I think you're right, though, to not concentrate on the negative ones, because it's really just a waste of resources. It's a waste of energy. But this is an amazing time, though, to get a message out there and to motivate people and to show people that there's something positive, not just in being inspired, but in inspiring others, talking about that balance between good times and bad times, the lessons that we take from each other. I heard a quote recently that said, every man knows reflection and introspection when he's at his lowest. In difficult times, you can't do anything other than wallow in retrospective assessment. One of my favorite things I've learned from you is that when things are going well, given that that's presumably what you want to have more of, it may be worth deconstructing that, right? What did you learn? Well, there are some lessons for me to learn. Lesson 1, which is a lesson that I observed, but I refuse to learn, is to be more careful what I say on the internet, but I refuse to learn that lesson. The gold coin's been offered to me, but I've declined. But is that to do with the go? I think it's to do with simple risk reward. If you're going to sit and feel sorry for yourself for the consequences of your own actions, then I'll call you an idiot. If you're going to make a conscious decision and live with the consequences like a man, I'll never call you an idiot, right? If you're going to sit there and say this may result in this, but I'm prepared for it, then go for it all day long. But you can't sit and say, oh my God, I don't know. Have you ever seen me on any podcast cry about going to jail? Have you seen me say, it's corrupt and it's not fair, I went to jail? I went to jail because I had a big mouth and I pissed off important people. Fine, I haven't stopped. I'll keep doing it. Put me back, fine. I've made my choice. I've made my decision. I'm not crying about it.